Hello everyone. I'm going to try to keep my videos short. I just threw one out that was 12 minutes and lots of tangents. Um, I'm trying to debate how much of my uh, my poor video making skills to keep in. A lot of it I'm finding is related to the autism. Um, so I think maybe some of it might be good to keep in, but some of it's just going to bore you to death. It's editing is a pain in the butt, so I'm hopefully able to keep them short. And if I got a lot of that stuff in here, it won't be too bad because it'll be a short video. So anyway, enough said. 45 minutes in. What this video I'm going to do is going to be about sort of my history, my past, what brought me up to discovering or looking into Asperger's as part of my diagnosis, as part of what was going on in my life. And so let me start as a child. Um, had problems reading. I always thought it was because I moved up from Texas to Ohio. Texas did not have kindergarten at that time. And my birthday is in September, so that I basically was starting very young. I was that age for Ohio to start, I think 6 years old for first grade, but I had no previous kindergarten. I had no previous schooling. That was a totally unfamiliar experience for me. But long story short, I was having a struggle. I had a horrible time, reading especially. And what was found out, well, I know they did some remedial coursework for me, or reading classes in second grade. Um, but it wasn't until I think sixth grade that I had actually a neuropsych done. And what that neuropsych had shown was ADHD. And sorry, my eyes are very dry. I got a fan here. It's warm in this room. And this is like drying my eyes out terribly. So maybe I can turn this down or set it on the floor in front of. Oh, there we go. Aha, that's good. Neuropsych. I go on tangents and I get lost in my topic, so please bear with me. Um, so I had a neuropsych, ADHD, dyslexia, cross dominance, minimal brain damage from hypoxia at birth. And there was really no kind of interventions that I can remember. I didn't go through any special classes. They may have put me in a less advanced class. They actually told my parents at that point that I would never graduate from high school. So that's what makes me believe that the symptoms were pretty severe, you know. Um, I remember not really having much of any kind of an idea what was going on, to be honest with you. I mean, other than, something's wrong and you're struggling. And apparently you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you start getting the grades up, and, and life goes on. Well, life goes on, but you always kind of have a feeling there's something amiss. And here I find out at the age 59 what it is, and it's autism. Ironically, too, I just want to add that I suspected, after finding this, as I was discovering all these things, that, well, I think my sister, and she actually just saw, she's just she isn't even at the acceptance stage yet. I showed her a video on female Asperger traits, and she said she cried when she watched it, which is the kind of a feeling I had when I took an ASPE quiz and started talking with people. It was just soul impact. I mean, um, that's another video sometime. But anyway, so you go in your whole life and you're covering up things. You don't understand even why you're doing what you're doing. Um, and you struggle. I'm this is the way it is for people on the spectrum. And I am so grateful that I did. Well, what happened was the reason I even looked into it was because 5 minutes in, okay, the reason I even looked into it was because I was having problems at work. And I had a real communication problem with my boss to the point, basically what I thought she was telling me, and this was on the phone, I was having this conversation, she was saying, well, sounds like you're something about you're so negative, and I don't remember if she said that you really don't want to be in this job, or maybe you shouldn't be in this job, or something like that, some sort of a in your face, and I remember immediately going, shut up, Tom, don't say another word, shut up. I mean, that was out of nowhere. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? Well, about 3-4 years prior to this, one of the ladies at work had a son who had Asperger's, and she'd talk about what they were doing as far as intervention and blah, 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 and to help him through socialization things. And I remember as she was talking about this, it was like, wow, this is striking some sort of a nerve here. This is, but that's part of me was thinking that. Of course, I was looking at the severity of his symptoms, and I was thinking, well, that can't be me. I don't do that. I never did that. And what we go through this process of completely covering up our lives, our tendencies, our feelings, our emotions, and all of that. I mean, it's probably one of the hardest parts I've had to deal with since diagnosis, and that is the self-deception. There's almost a grieving that you go through, and so anyway, that got me to basically the beginning of this year when I took what they call the ASD quiz, and it said very likely neurodiverse. I think my score out of the neurodiverse side is on a 200-point scale, and I was like 142. And the neurotypical, I think, is on a 100 scale. I'll have to double check that. I think it's a 100 scale, but I was like in the 60s, or maybe it's a 200 also. It might be 200. I was in the 60s. But anyway, it was neurodiverse. And that was and that wasn't like convincing to me. That wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm neurodiverse, but it's like, didn't expect quite that much of a result, but then when I started looking into other information, I started coming up on forums and vlogs and what do you call them? People have their own blogs, I guess. And that's when it hit me, and it hit me hard. That I went, these people are talking about things. They're putting words on feelings that I've never expressed to anyone, and they are describing exactly what I went through, exactly. And it was thing after thing after thing, and it was a relief. It was frightening. It was mostly a relief, but it was the feeling of, my God, this is it. This is it. And that process then of acceptance, that's another whole video. But that's sort of the history. That's where I got to where I am today. 6 months in, and that's just the very beginning. Most people say it's a lifetime journey, or it is a lifetime journey, but I'm about 2 years, I'm hearing people say that's about when you will start getting kind of comfortable with the facts. So anyway, that's that part of my journey, and sort of brings me up to today, I guess. Well, it brings me up to the discovery. I'll go through a quick one on diagnosis too. So that's to be the next video. Thank you.